Hey everybody, Divine Brothers meeting once more here in the near end of March, first day of a glorious spring here in Beijing after many months of cold, want to kill yourself winter. So I feel joyous, gratitude, a certain sense of appreciation for the greater universe. Yeah. Jace, Austin, how you guys doing, man?
I've had a cascading bad events. I mean, nothing major, but sometimes when one bad thing happens, another happens, and it kind of depletes your energy. So, yeah, I've had better weeks. I guess you could say that. Yeah.
You know, I had a really awful week because of one terrible thing. This is something that kind of ruined everything for me because it started off so good and it went so bad. I was watching the second season of a TV show and I was so excited for how it started and they totally fucked it up. Like so much so that when the third season comes, I'm not gonna watch it. I've already made the decision. I'm not gonna continue with it. And it was heartbreaking, heart wrenching to see such great potential destroyed and destroyed by writers, people who think they're being cool and artistic and they're just fucking up.
Austin, you're
Really.
gonna have to mute yourself, brother. I keep hearing you eat. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Dean. Yeah, that's
it's okay.
all I could hear was
It's
him
okay.
eating, man. Yeah,
I thought I turned it off.
you
God, I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
you
Yeah,
totally did
no
not, dude.
problem.
Yeah, yeah. Usually with the season stuff, what show is this, Dean?
Severance. Did you ever see that?
Is this one where they do the memory thing or something like that?
Yeah, like you go to work and it like the second you go into work, your brain shuts off and you just walk out of the elevator, you're done. It's instant. But what happens is there's two versions of you. There's the version that's stuck in work for all eternity, and then there's the version of you that never goes to work,
I
and they're two separate people.
I did my our dad was into that, and I watched one episode. It's just a little too stupid for me. It was just I was just like, oh, they took psychology and they just went way too far. I just was done with it after one episode. I was like, this is
Oh
stupid.
man, the first season is fan fucking tastic. It is so good. It's one of those like they tease you. They tease you like they're grabbing you by the balls saying, come on, just come. And then they never let you do it. Like it just kept going and going. And by the time you get to the end of the first season, you're screaming, you know? But the second season, they stretched this bitch out for 9 episodes. It could have been done in one fucking episode. They just kept dragging and dragging, and nothing got resolved. They answered no fucking questions. It was like that show Lost. Did you ever remember that show from
I
way
never
back in the
saw it
day?
and didn't appeal to me.
People were going nuts about that fucking show, because, oh, what's going on? There's all these mysteries. There's all these things. They never fucking answered the questions. They just they just were like, well, we've written all these interesting, mysteries, and we have no fucking idea how to solve them.
Yeah.
Which is probably what George R. R. Martin's going through right now. He's got all these fucking stories, and he just can't fucking figure out how to answer them all.
I, you know what I always run into more so movies, it's or series, it's the books. Like if I every national bestseller like crime drama our mom's given us or like the Da Vinci Code, I'll
Have
read
you read them?
half, three
Oh,
fourths. Da Vinci Code I read like I was 10 pages away from the end and I was like, fuck it. This is so bad. Like this has gone
really?
a direction I can't I just threw it away. That close to finishing. I have gone way past half in books and just been like, fuck this. This is stupid. Can't do it.
I think Da Vinci Code, that was like the last big book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it like swept over the world, It wasn't like some weird niche thing like 50 Shades of Grey or Game of Thrones. It was just a story that fucking sucked the world in. We haven't had one of those in a long time, man.
Yeah, well, I didn't finish it.
People don't read anymore, except for Austin. Austin still reads, but yeah, me
Mm,
and
nobody
everybody
reads
else.
except
Yeah, I
old
guess
people. Old people read.
it's a shame though, man, because like
You don't
I kind
read,
of
you
miss.
listen to books.
No, I do read. I actually do read. I listen to
You,
books for the gym, but I really do read because I have to
mm,
for my job. It's literally like the
If you didn't
only
have to for your
requirement.
job, would you still read?
Um,
Or-
Actually, I have been reading more lately because of the book club podcast. It's not just William James like that, Albert Camus and stuff like that. I went down a hole with that, and Bobby got me to check out Metaphysics by Aristotle, which is, I'll admit, more tedious, but not bad to go into. But typically, the shit I read is just really like when there's good history, man, it's not reading. It's just great. Like Storm of War by Andrew Roberts. Holy every page is just unbelievable
Really?
story after unbelievable. Oh, it's he's the
Robert
best.
Greene level history?
Yeah, better, better.
No, stop.
Yeah, because
That's
Robert
history
Greene
on
is moralizing
steroids.
now.
That's steroids.
Dude, like he has a way of just presenting a story where you're there, you're in it, you are absolutely in it, and it's just not boring. Every word is just dripping with intrigue. You know, he's the fucking best. Stephen Calkins is a little bit like that too. Victor Davis Hanson, he's another one that's really good. Even Robert Bloch, like an old school French historian, he's a really good fucking writer too. You know, so yeah,
That Victor Hansen guy, I've seen him talk sometimes.
yeah, the old man.
He never wavers from that temperament. Yeah,
It's
and
him.
this is what he was thinking. Like never. I've never seen him excited, never seen him upset. Just perfectly consistent.
I got a kid in my history class. He's going to Yale. Like, this kid's a fucking G. He missed one question on the SAT. He was furious about it. He was like, "I didn't. It was an English word I didn't know." That's what he says. It was the one English word I didn't know on the SAT. But he's going there, and I got him into the Hoover Institution, which is like the super ultra conservative historians like Victor Davis Hanson, and he's now read all of Victor David Hanson's books and stuff like that. And he's all excited, like, I'm going to go to Yale. I'm going to talk about Trump with all the. I was like, listen, wait. Don't go into Yale University talking about how great Trump is. Just be careful. Just be careful. You know, like I'm afraid he's going to go in there and make enemies of everybody that he's going to meet. This weird Chinese kid from Beijing talking about the case for Trump by Victor David Hanson. So we'll see how it works out for him, but. I hope he can keep his temperament appropriate for a liberal academic world.
I had a student when I was in Thailand. She was going to NYU. She got in, and I always used to call it the community college in New York, and that really pissed her off every fucking
Of
time.
course.
Yeah.
I always think, like, have you ever been to New York? Never
Fuck
been.
no. Never been. Don't want to
You're
go.
right.
Yeah.
I don't want to go either. It seems kind of shitty, especially like because I've been to Shanghai and Tokyo, and those are such cool places, you know. And I just feel like New York's like the old, busted version of those cities, you know. I don't imagine anything working really well. It seems grimy, you know, cold, not good.
Ditto. 100% agree.
Mm, yeah. We might be
Why
coming
we
out. Oh, go ahead, Austin.
speculating so harshly about New York? But I do agree it's probably a terrible place, and I'd like to go there one time. The only big city I ever passed through was Vancouver, and I was actually pretty impressed. You would see Maseratis and Ferraris driving down the street next to the most like decrepit junkie you've ever imagined in your life. It was a wild experience for me.
Vacillation.
How Asian was Vancouver? I'm curious. I've been told it's the new Hong Kong.
I totally believe that, but I couldn't really tell because I just drove through it one time. But
Okay.
looked like there's a lot of Asian there. I could agree with that.
And
You haven't been to Atlanta?
Uh, no, I don't think I have. No.
Whoa. Okay.
I was gonna ask if you guys had to pick hanging out in Boston or New York for the night, which one would it be if you had to pick one?
Boston.
Really?
Boston. The history, man. Oh my
Boston?
God. What? Are you serious? It's like the heart of the revolution, dude. That's where it all went down. That was the Boston Tea Party.
No.
That was where we had John Adams marching through the streets. That's where we have all the shit, man. That's like you got Lexington and Concord just outside. You got, I thought, dude, Boston. I want to go to Boston one day, genuinely. Also, I would go to Fenway Park, just for the hell of it.
No.
It's like an American thing to do, you know?
I did. I'd take New York. I cannot. Boston accent is the worst accent I've ever heard in my entire life in any language. I can't. Any movie with I turn it off immediately. I can't hear them talk, and they love that city way too much. Like it's like a
Awesome.
utopia to them. I'm like, you fucking are. I can't listen to you talk, and I don't want to go to your city and drink a Samuel Adams or whatever they fucking drink.
Was
You
that
need to have love
movie
for your city, man. Go ahead,
the
Austin.
Departed? Is that Boston? Yeah, I
Yes.
want a clear picture. Yeah, it sounds terrible. They all were killing each other. It sounds terrible.
There's no love for Goodwill Hunting. A little, what's his name?
Matt Damon
Matt Damon, Yeah.
and the other guy.
Yeah,
Ben
the other guy.
Affleck
His new
Ben
lover,
Affleck.
yeah.
That's yeah.
playing
Okay.
an idiot, which he is. It was a perfect role for him.
Yeah.
Like fucking retard.
Yeah.
It's like any role that Ashton Kutcher plays as an idiot, he nails it. I'm just like, he's not
Well,
acting.
like, dude, where's my car?
Or that the ranch
His
show that he's
speech.
on. Remember that? He's
Oh yeah, you
perfect for
love
that.
that show.
No, he's
Yeah.
perfect for it because he plays a dumb fucking high school dropout. That's exactly what he comes across as. Yeah.
So it's interesting it comes back. So Austin, like how I found out about Severance and this show that Chase is talking about, the ranch show, and that stupid Canadian show. I can't remember what it's called, Letterkenny. And it was all because during 2020, during COVID, we were each at separate times stuck with our uncle. And this guy is like the king of TV. He's seen it all. He has seen everything. He's seen every show and everything like that. And you hang out with him, you just start watching stuff,
Dude,
stuff you'd never watched before.
years ago during the pandemic, I got stuck in a phone shop getting my phone updated. I'm in there like 2 or 3 hours. It's in Hawaii. There's like 7, 8 people. They all are talking. It's like one big conversation. All of them watched shows. The average person consumes seasons of shows. I
It's
did
fun.
not know that. I did not
It's
know
fun.
that.
Dude, that Severance season two, like it got so shitty, but you know what? We had a great time watching it because we just bashed it together.
Mm.
We were just bashing it every second. Like, what the fuck are they doing? These fucking. It was great to get angry and yell together with your friends.
Ooh, that does sound fun.
Like
That sounds fun.
it's been a long time since we watched the show. Like it's been months and months and months and months. Just we haven't watched shows, and we heard the second season was out, like on the China site or whatever. And we're like, all right, we'll go check it out. And even in the hate, damn, it's a good experience, man. It's something
Sure.
you can do with people, and it's chill.
I had some great times getting high and just making fun of TV shows or watching games or something like that. Like those were great times. Great times doing that shit, man. It's fantastic.
When me and Wu Yin were down in Hawaii with Chase, we got high and we were stuck. We just didn't do anything for a while, and we got high and watched that Naked and Afraid show
Oh, yeah.
for just episodes and episodes. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. We were both like, man, I don't know who's gonna make it out. Like sometimes you'd be like, this guy's gonna make it. He's clearly the best, and then they break down and they get kicked out, and suddenly this stupid show that I would never ever ever watch on my own became the most exciting thing in the world. This is what people do, you
Some
know.
people do. Austin, did I ever get high with you and watch TV? Did we ever do that? I can't remember.
Yeah, we watched Dave Attell together.
Did we?
Oh
It's,
man,
Yeah.
good choice.
it's a great choice. Yeah,
I
Dean
was
got to
pretty
see
young. I don't think we were getting high very much, but that was definitely something we enjoyed.
David Tell's modern day Socrates for us, man. He's a fucking brilliant
Yeah.
man.
Me and your brother, we saw David Tell together there in Huntsville. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, that was nice.
Hey, what do you guys think of all these people blowing up all the Tesla shit?
I think it's pretty silly. I mean, you're doing a lot of damage to the environment by lighting those things on fire, and presumably these people are doing it partly for the environment. I guess partly because they think Elon's a Nazi, right? Is that part of the argument?
Yeah.
But those
You
cars
know,
are Nazis. An inanimate object cannot be a Nazi unless they're programmed to be, I guess. So maybe I'll see what you guys think.
I teach the civil rights movement, like really go into depth and like what was successful about it and why it totally fizzled out, and all that. And kind of the big lesson from it all is there's all these big moments of protest, like moments where there's like, police dogs and fire hoses and burning shit down and like on both sides, really nasty stuff. But kind of the whole point of it is the only things that really mattered was the legislation. and the courts. That was the only thing that really changed shit. Like all the people who were being loud with protests or doing big, like Black Panther shit, marching down the street with semi automatic weapons in hands and stuff like that. If anything, that kind of turned people off from the movement, you know? And the people in the NAACP who are actually putting their nose to paperwork and actually trying to get shit passed, they were the unsung heroes who was really getting shit done. And I think that Americans are just incapable of doing that. They need to have the action, the moment of big fire, of explosion that somehow indicates I did something, you know? It's the hero mentality. Everybody believes that they're going to be the hero that changes everything, the Greta Thunberg, but instead, you're just an asshole, you know? Uh, Americans don't get it.
No, man. There was a video because all these Teslas got video cameras. There's this fat white guy comes up, sticks his hand down the back of his pants, and just runs poop all over the fucking just car.
Ugh.
It's disgusting. Then it's like old people keying cars, thinking they're not going to get caught, but the Teslas all have camera systems, so they're getting caught. It's embarrassing. It's
So
embarrassing.
there are consequences. People are getting caught. They're
Well,
like,
it's funny because you catch them, they deny it. No, 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 it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's like you're on camera, like, oh shit, yeah.
dude, that's an expensive car. That's a big fucking fine or whatever you got to do to pay for the damages. Like that could be crippling.
We talked about lying. These people lying. Dude, there's this video going around the internet, and I don't know if you've seen it, Austin. Dude, it's a track meet. It's these black girls running in a high school track meet. It's like the finals of the 400. This chick's passing this black chick, and they got the baton. You know those batons? The opposing chick just takes it and smacks her on the back of their head, like as hard as she can. Like literally, as they're racing, hits her, and she just falls off the track, and they finish the race. The girl gets a concussion and they go interview the chick that hit her. She's like, no, my arm slipped.
What?
She startled me. She's sitting there crying. I'm like, why don't you just own it? Like, why are we lying? Why just be like, I keyed the car. Yeah, I smeared shit on the window. Like, yes, I beat her over the head with the, but just say it. It's on camera. You can't lie your way out. People still lie their way out of it. It's like, fuck, if you catch me, I'm on camera. What's the point of still fucking going through it?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, she did an interview. I mean, she tried to lie. She was like, "Yeah, she stepped in front of me and it ran up the back of her shirt and all this stuff." But like I'm sure 100 people were taking videos, and she cleared like none of that happened. She just like lifted up her arm and hit her in the back of the head with that baton.
Yep.
She was like, she was really upset because it ruined her life, is what she was saying. But pretty well deserved, right? Like you can't hit your competitor in the back of the head with a baton.
But this is
It is interesting to see like the propensity for lying. I went down a long, dark YouTube rabbit hole of like police encounter videos. You guys ever watch those, like the body cam videos? You
sure.
know,
Cops, the old
and
school cops is great.
dude, I had to stop watching them because they made like I couldn't stop. Like I got addicted to like watching like people absolutely like descend into chaos, like, and it just amazes me how they lie. They just lie straight to the face of the police just over and over and over again. And they're like, "Are you on drugs?" No, sir, absolutely not. Really? And what's the crack pipe there? And your that belongs to my friend. Your friend. Where is your friend? He's yeah, run away. Ah! And then tased on the ground screaming, And it's just or somebody gets thrown down on the ground by police and they start saying like, help, I can't breathe, ma'am, I'm not on your neck, I have handcuffs on you, I can't breathe, help, help! And it's like all the worst things in humanity on display. And I become addicted to it, but it makes me sick. I'm addicted to the sickness it makes me feel inside.
Who who in their right mind would be a police officer? I mean, unless it was
Oh.
like unless it like it has to be generational, right? My dad was a cop, his dad
Or
was a cop, like
got a power complex,
but who would I don't know anybody that would want that job because it's not going to pay enough for the power complex for me. Like it's just like, if I'm going to have a power complex, I want to be in charge of something. I don't want to be in fucking
Yeah,
policing.
but if you're kind of stupid,
Yeah,
You don't have prospects or anything like that. Like what are you going to do?
there's no pride in that job. There's no respect either. So it's like I don't know if
I
I
think there
really do it.
can be, I think the pride can be self-contrived. You know what I mean? Like there's what the news shows, and then there's how police officers view themselves. You know, the last line of defense, law, order,
I
you
don't
know.
know. I don't know anymore, man. Who knows? Fuck.
Also, like being a police officer is one thing, but what about being a detective? I bet a lot of people want to be a detective, you know.
Well, yeah, you graduate up to detective. Yeah, the best thing in
Yeah.
cops, everyone's lying to you. I had one behind me all the way home from the gym, just behind me. Made me a little anxious. I was
Oh
just like,
yeah.
I'm fucking my speeding. I got all my papers. Like I wasn't doing anything.
Yep.
I just,
Yep.
they just evoke anxiety. I can't imagine a job where everybody you interact with is anxious. Everybody
Yeah.
and anxious of you. Yeah.
It's not like that in China. There's police everywhere. It's shocking. Like that's why there's no crime because they're just everywhere. It's absolute cameras, police, every corner, all the time. You
Wow.
know what I mean? But they just there's been so much peace for so long that they're just kind of friendly. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like they just ask about my dog and stuff like that. It's just like you can ask them for directions and they're just chill.
Do you guys? I think there's a YouTube channel. I think it's called Active Self Defense, and they give breakdowns of self defense situations, cop situations, and I guess because they're like technically educational content, they show like very graphic shootings and stuff. Have you ever heard of this on YouTube?
No.
It's some of the most brutal things I've ever seen. Like, I don't really go out of my way to look at gore and so forth, but I've seen just horrible, horrible things. And you got to like imagine as a cop, like a lot of these people are deeply traumatized. Like, God knows why they got into it, but like 5 years in, they're mentally like broken after because people say it. You encounter the worst of society over and over again. Maybe you're forced to kill a person or two. Maybe it's justified. Maybe it's not. But I mean, the sad fact is we need police, dude. We need police, right? We can't not have
Austin,
them
do you
around.
do you like the dark shit on the internet? Have you gone to those places like r/watch people die or the horrible places like that?
No, I remember like a lot of people as a kid, I was introduced to some like graphic death content like that. Never really
Yeah,
cared much for it, never cared. And
can't do it.
I think I don't know, if you're an adult and you're watching people getting murdered or die like on a regular basis. I guess I watch Ukraine content, but I just see that as war footage. I don't know, man. I find it deranged, and I do it to inform myself, and then I get away from it, dude. I derive no pleasure watching either side die. I think it's horrible either way. It just makes me sad because I think it's totally unnecessary and could be a lot better for everyone involved.
Could be a conversion experience. Yes. You go
Yeah.
seek out the darkness, and from there you find enlightenment.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was curious. You said all the cops in China are friendly. What do cops do over there? I mean, if somebody's, are people breaking the law ever? What kind of laws what's the main crime being committed in China, I guess, if any?
I think I shared it, but did I tell you? You remember my cop experience with my friend who went crazy?
Yeah, not really.
So
Maybe.
Austin, I had a teacher friend, Gary. I was friends with him because he was a gay guy, like so we were just friends. Like I knew his boyfriend and all that sort of stuff. And he had a mental breakdown, like a total fucking mental, like was convinced there was shit in the walls. He accused the principal of trying to attack him and that he was going to replace his job and all that. Like he went nuts and started texting students like they're trying to kill me, they're trying to kill me, and like so. I was the only guy who was friends with him, and the principal called me up and was like, "You need to go fucking check on him." I find him like half naked in the middle of the Beijing street, and I like have to grab him off the street and take him up to his apartment. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, I'm not leaving until somebody comes, and I call his boyfriend, and the boyfriend calls the police. The police come up, and it's like four people. Yeah, like I was terrified, because I barely speak Chinese. Like, ni hao, that's fucking it. And they come in, dude, totally calm, professional. They were absolutely understanding of his situation. And like not I was terrified Gary was going to do something crazy, but they were just like, "Yeah, we're just going to stay with you until we get a supervisor here from your school." And when the head bitch came, like the woman who like her father like built the school and she inherited it, she came, Diane, the police officer started screaming at her in Chinese, saying, "This is your responsibility. You are the one who should have watched out of this. This guy is a public, like a public danger. And the
Yes.
fact that it happened on your watch is something you will be hearing about from our department and from the CCP, you know?"
Wow.
And then she, along with the four police officers, escorted him to a hospital. Yeah. And they literally had a police officer with him at all times for his 1 month in recovery, you know?
Did you get any brownie points for helping out, or you were nothing? You're
Oh,
just
I think the school was way more concerned with like the fact that they got yelled at about this
sure,
shit. You
sure.
know what I mean? But yeah, I remember thinking like I can't believe how cool these guys because we're two foreigners. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, haba haba, like it's okay. Like I'm just trying to be chill, and he's off his fucking rocker. Like rocking back and forth, like he's put like his apartment. He's built up a barricade against his room, like he's pushed all the furniture against the door to stop people from coming in and stuff like that. Totally cool, totally chill. Because I have that American cop energy from watching all those YouTube videos where I'm afraid this is going to turn. Sir, calm down. I need you to calm down right now. Sir, so I will fire, sir. I will. That's what I thought was going to happen, but it didn't, So is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. If that would have taken place in America, they probably would have just shot him. There's a famous case of this black lady and her kid, mentally ill, called the police herself. And she was like reaching for a hot pan. She was cooking like some noodles or something, and they killed her. And the guy, it turned out the guy had like multiple violations of excessive violence and all this shit. And yeah,
Ah, well, I'll
did
tell
do
you
they
something
carry
else too.
guns in
Yeah, I
China?
was just about to say that. No guns. They don't have guns. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
when you carry a hammer, everything's a nail. I don't. Like in the UK, I think you have to be like a highly trained police officer to carry a gun. But I think there are people with guns, especially around like hard targets, like like the Queen's residence and
right.
that kind of thing. But generally, I don't
They
think your average
have
traffic cop has a pistol.
they have tools. Like they're not the same as American tools, but they definitely have the fuck you up tools. Yeah, like they've got the big belt with all kinds of weird things on it, and they love their riot shields with the people pushers. They look like big like spoon sort of things, and they're all every security guard's got one of them, and they all just stand there like they're little Spartan soldiers and stuff like that.
Did
So yeah, they love
you
their
know who I
tools.
was thinking my favorite cop show? You guys will like this. It was you guys have to take a guess. What do you think my favorite cop like show was?
Uh,
Pop show.
Texas, what was like Walker Ranger?
Walker, Texas Ranger. That was mom's favorite show. Oh man, I remember those. Remember Conan? He had the Walker.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
absolutely.
was good.
Yeah. No,
Favorite
Dog the Bounty Hunter, man. Yeah, and he was
Cop.
based out of Hawaii, but he was just
Yeah.
this degenerate white trash. Every episode was the same. They'd get a case. They'd make phone call. Hey, I'm coming for you. I got a warrant. Fuck you, motherfucker. I'm not coming in alive. Fuck you, bitch. They would just say these horrible things. He'd find him sleeping under his mom's mattress or something like that, and like threaten to spray him with some type of taser or fucking bear spray. And they get in the car, and then they start talking Jesus immediately. Listen, Jesus loves you, man. You're gonna turn your ways. Oh, I'm so sorry, dog. Thank you, man, for caring. It was this.
Do you remember what happened to him? Do you
Every
remember how
episode
it
was the
all ended?
fucking same. What's that? What happened to him?
Remember how it ended? Like he was huge. He was a genuine like American. He was kind of like a Tiger King. You know what I mean? Like he had his 15 minutes where he was all over America, man.
It's awesome.
But do you remember how it all ended?
It's something about the N word with his daughter
He
or
said the
something.
N word. Yeah, his
Yeah.
daughter was dating a black guy, and she recorded the phone conversation or the voicemail, where he's like, "Listen, we can't have, we say the N word all the time. I don't want this guy around while we're saying the N word and stuff like that." And he went so hard into the please forgive me
Crying,
territory,
crying.
crying, and now he demands when he dies that he's buried in the graves of former slaves, surrounded by former
What?
slaves. Yeah,
What?
Wow.
that's a true story. He demands that when he dies, he wants to be buried around former slaves so they can so he knows exactly the pain that they went
Wow.
through. Because he lost it all. He was the most famous dude in America. He was huge. And that one word, it was over.
Dude,
We
that's
don't need
not
no,
fair.
you know?
Dog helped a
Yeah.
lot of people, man. He brought a lot of people to Christ. He got a lot of people off crystal meth, right? He was in Hawaii, right, Chase?
Yeah, Oahu. Yep, Hawaii. Yeah.
A lot of meth in Oahu.
Yes, a lot of it.
Is
Yeah.
it good?
But I don't know. I'm sure it
Is
is.
it good? Austin's like thinking about should I get a plane flight? Should I go now?
You're not the first to think this way. Look, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
I don't think he's right. The thing, and if you grew up around black people, all my black friends, they teach you, look, there's a difference between the A and the R. There's two different types of black people. There is, even amongst black people. You just don't say it out loud, but there is a difference. There's two types.
dude, I got a question. The look of Dog the Bounty Hunter. That that look, that hair, the tats, the always sleeveless, you know?
Dude, he
Like,
always had boots, 3 to 4 inch boots. That's what he'd wear.
dude, like I did the sunglasses, always the
Tan
sunglasses.
lines with the sunglasses. Yeah.
And by the
Remember
way, his whole thing,
Beth? Remember his wife, that behemoth
big
of a
woman,
Miss Piggy looking
fucking
woman, man?
bad,
She's huge. Fucking massive woman.
dude. See, here's my so whether it's like Dog the Bounty Hunter or Joe Exotic, like what do you think about having a look? Like you just you own a fashion, you own an identity, and in a sense, it becomes your celebrity. You become that guy, the one who like I'm committed to this, I'm doing it, and in a way, it you gotta admire somebody who's got the confidence to stick with that shit. You know, like you ever thought about that? You ever thought about committing?
That paycheck's that big, absolutely. Whatever you want me to look like, I will fucking commit. Yeah. Couple
I'm glad you
million a
said
year, that's no problem. Whatever.
I
Cowboy
have some
hat.
drag queens I want you to talk to
I don't know
because I
about
think
that. But like a
ideas.
dog look, some ridiculous fucking hillbilly look, sure. Why not? Fucking let's do it.
I
Yeah.
am convinced fashion's important. I think it is. I've never paid attention to it. I hate it. I don't understand it, but I think it's important. I think I need to learn, you know?
No, you're definitely telegraphing something when you're say a guy's wearing a keychain or like one of those things that attaches to your wallet that like hangs down, and you
Oh,
could
the
say,
chain.
yeah,
Yeah.
chain. That's the word I'm looking for. So if a guy's got a chain on him, and if it's a spiky chain, this guy is probably has a certain type of an attitude. Like it's true. And I don't know why you would want to tell people that, but I think maybe you're looking for other people with that kind of attitude. And I think for gay people, like the other day, dude, I wanted to take a photograph. I've never seen such a ridiculous character in the wild before. It was an old man, well, not maybe not old, but I'll tell you, a rough 45. Probably did meth a good deal in his life. Probably lives in a trailer. Probably lives with his parents still.
All the fashion is telling you all of this
Yeah,
information, huh?
he should probably wear a men's 35. He's wearing a child's medium. I don't know. And
Oh
his
boy.
ass crack is clearly hanging out of his pants, and it's
This
Walmart.
is in
And
Huntsville,
it,
Alabama?
no, this is in Newmarket, Alabama, dog.
Oh, that's even worse. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
keep going.
and I mean, tell me what's a person like this trying to telegraph to other people, right? He's making a statement. I don't know what that statement was. It's I don't care what disease you have. Let's go to my trailer. That's the feeling I get.
That's a good line, man. Yeah. I think that's spot on. That's exactly what he's thinking, you know?
Yeah,
It's
it
it's
was very
saying
upsetting.
it's on like Donkey Kong, man. Just come on, let's do it. That's what
Yeah,
he's saying.
look, man, you got to understand where you're at. So we got a family farm in Aniana, Alabama, wherever that fucking. There's been 2 or 3 times with our father. He's like, "Hey, you want to go? There's a Walmart in this tiny thing. You want to go to Walmart? Like, what do you need?
Oh yeah,
Just to look at people. I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, if
something to do.
small town Alabama Walmart, you've given up. I mean, if you look like that guy, you don't care. I mean, you can't go any lower, can you? Maybe Mississippi. It's just like, yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere in Alabama and Walmart. I don't care. I can
But you
get it.
see, fashion tells you something about it. You know, like Austin, like you know what your fashion says, man. Elrod. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I look at you and I say, that's what Chris would wear. That's the exact same fucking thing, you know? Like, especially the hat. The hat right there, that what you are wearing, that hat, that is Alabama 101 right there. You know, it just needs an Auburn or a Bama logo on the top, and you're ready for Alabama, man. You
I'd
know?
never do it. That's one thing I could never jive with my community is a love for sports. But I like to dress in a way that says, you know, I'm okay. I'm not on meth or anything. I just want to like, because you look, you want to
Not
present
on that. That's a
yourself
good one.
a
Yeah.
certain kind of way to
Uh-huh.
everybody, including the police, dude. I'm a good white dude. I don't got anything to hide. I'm wearing a hoodie. I'm fine,
That's
man.
so true. Dude, is that not that's the epitome of Alabama fighting in your fashion. I'm a good white dude. I'm not one of the bad ones. I'm not one of the ones that's screaming out the N-word. I'm a good white. I'm telling you, man. I go to church. I go to church, you know, like that sort of thing.
I
That's what you're projecting, Austin. I like it. Yeah.
I love the fashion sense out here in Hawaii. It's literally you get up, you find a pair of shorts and the shirt. The shirt can be inside out. It could have a stain on it, holes. It doesn't make you got your shorts and you got your shirt, and that's it. And you got your flip flops. That's it. Everybody's same shit
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. What
Easy.
about a suit? Would you ever wear a suit? Ever?
Are you talking to me or him?
Either.
Oh, obligation. Like if there's
Oh,
like
no
a
obligation.
formal, I would never wear a suit just to wear a suit. I
It
just no.
can't be Shuai though. I mean, you can't look. You guys know? Yeah, sorry, Shuai. Shuai is handsome in Chinese. They say it all the time, like oh, Fei Chong Shuai, like Han Shuai, like handsome, handsome,
Like
handsome. You know?
suave almost, yeah.
Yeah, like suave kind of. You know, but a suit is suave.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
like a good, well tailored suit, dude, like a Gregory Peck looking guy. You know, come on, that's classic, classic.
I
You
had
know,
tailored suits made in Thailand, and tailored being the key word. They looked great and they fit great for 6 months. And then whether I gained muscle or got a little fatter, I couldn't wear them anymore.
had to be perfect size. Yeah, you still have
Perfect.
them
Yeah, somewhere, maybe not.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Austin,
work
what about you, man?
I work downtown Huntsville, and I'm in a building. It's one of the larger buildings, and above us is a bunch of lawyers, and you run into these people, and most of the older ones are wear ill-fitting suits. It's very
Yeah,
interesting,
that's
and a lot
not
of
good.
flashy jewelry, and it looks really bad. And they're all wearing loafers without socks, and I'm just like, the guy's feet
Ugh,
might.
loafers without socks. That's disgusting. In
I hate it,
Alabama?
man.
What?
And I don't know. Again, they're stuck 20. I think this is what happens, right? Your fashion sense is developed when you're like 15 years old, or maybe 21. I don't know. But then you're stuck at some point. Like I think most people don't keep updating their wardrobe. But I have to say,
No,
man, you see,
you need more gay people in your life, Austin,
that's
because
true.
I will tell you right now, they absolutely do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not around any gay people, and when I see them, I just I avoid them. No, I'm joking. But look, man, if you see a guy walking down the street in a suave suit because we have a night, we have nice restaurants and stuff, dude, he stands out, and
Yeah.
you assume the guy's probably a lawyer, or he's probably got a high price job, and given the opportunity, if I had $1 million, I what I would do, I'd buy a fancy suit, and I'd get online, and I'd get a certificate that says I'm a doctor of something, a doctor of
Yeah. Dr.
theology.
Elrod.
Let,
Yeah,
let,
yeah.
let me tell you something about the fancy suit type guys, because I've had to talk to some of these individuals. It's never just the fancy suit. If you're a fancy suit man, you spend a lot of time in front of the mirror. I mean, you're trimming your nose
Sure.
hair, you're making sure the
Yeah.
beard is perfect, you're combing the hair,
Mhm.
you're moisturizing your skin, you're worried about
Yep.
the wrinkles coming in on the
Yeah.
side of your eyes. Like, all that is a world I don't want to get into. Like, I don't want to give a shit that
Yeah,
much.
but Chase, you're also single.
Yeah,
And
but the, we act like, oh, you just look suave. There's always like a complex with it. I always have to look good. That's what I'm saying. There's people like that. That's their identity is looking good. You don't see them looking bad. They can't handle that.
I would say I think one of the great feelings in life must be other people looking at you and knowing they're thinking, damn,
Lustful
he's a
eyes.
handsome man. You
Yeah.
know? Like that come I've never experienced well, maybe okay, maybe when I was like a little 18-year-old going into like dirty bars and
18-year-old twink.
good, you know. I was not a twink, but I definitely had moments I was like, holy shit, someone's buying me a drink. Oh my God. You know, like that was an unbelievable feeling. But these days, no, never. But I see women, dude. We got a new teacher at the school. Yeah, excuse me, a new psychologist at the school. Yeah, she gave the most boring fucking presentation I've ever seen. It made me want to kill myself. But she is a hot piece of Chinese ass, little Singaporean girl, and good
Mm,
God,
mm.
I have never seen so many people, so many men and women's. Can I help you? Hey, can I help you adjust to school? Can I get you to like? Oh, that was such a great presentation. You did such a good job. Like, oh, here we can help you with that. Blah 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 blah. I was like, you know what? I remember when the fat bitch was giving this lecture last year. Nobody said anything to her. Nobody gave a fucking shit. You know, if you look good, life's easier. You
Pretty,
know, so
pretty
I don't blame the
lips.
SWAT people for trimming the nose hair. You know, why not? Helps.
Look, yeah, look, if you're naturally beautiful, you have to cultivate it. You have to cultivate it, right? I mean, I certainly would. You would too. You know, there's a YouTube channel that I get on the shorts sometimes. It's just this really tall, handsome guy walking through crowds, and it's just got a camera behind him, and it's just got the women's reactions. And they're just like, oh,
Oh my
oh.
God.
I'm like,
Oh my.
this is how this guy makes his life. He
Can we
walks
do
through
the
crowds.
opposite, like where we get the fat guy at Walmart and have the camera and how people are looking away from him purposely, moving their
That would
carts to the side
that would be
again?
a better channel, actually. That would be
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually.
that is a it's probably already being done.
We need to
Yeah.
corner the market on the fat man reaction videos.
Yeah. There's one
Yeah.
YouTube where a guy does awkward calls next to people in Walmart. Those are good. Like, knocking up his
How do you
sister,
find this shit?
knocking up your sister or something. And then if you stay on it too long, and it's the guy that lets his penis out and tries to get girls to suck it in Walmart.
Oh man, I saw this great one. There was this this guy went to Golden Corral. You remember Golden Corral,
It's
the
horrible.
horrible buffet
Horrible.
place, you know?
Fucking horrible, man. Sizzler's way better.
He's in the buffet line, like getting salad and stuff, and he has his plate like down to his pants, and he slips out his penis and like puts salad over his penis and his plate like down, and he just starts going up to people talking, and he's eating off the plate with his cock lurking in the undergrowth.
That's just
Wait, what is
Uh,
this? Is this on YouTube? I mean, what?
yeah, I don't remember. I saw it a long time ago, but
This
yeah,
sounds
I
like a
remember.
Pornhub situation.
He was a Scottish guy, and he was saying he was like explaining what he was doing beforehand. He's like, the idea is to have it lurking in the undergrowth,
what
you know.
did you see the one where Johnny Knoxville played basketball with a fake boner? Like he put the boner in his he's playing
Hey,
and this
dude.
and this one guy that's guarding him keeps touching it. It's like he's just brushing up against it and grabbing it and shit. Look, this guy's kind of into it. Yeah, it was.
Dude,
Yeah,
Johnny Knoxville is one of the few people in this world who I have genuine respect for.
that's a
Like
man.
I believe he is so committed to what he does. Like you just time and time again, he commits harder than anybody else. You know, like I remember there's a couple of moments that I remember, but you remember the Butterbean fight,
Yeah,
you know, where he
yeah,
gets Butterbean to knock him out, you know, and I mean, he gets hit hard,
yeah.
hard. And he's like on another planet, like his body's tensed up and stuff. And like a couple minutes later, he wakes up. First thing he says, "Is Butterbean all right?" It's a fucking man. A fucking
I'll tell you that there's two that stood out to me. Butterbean was one. There, he's blindfolded, smoking a cigarette
yeah.
as a
Oh,
bull.
it's a great.
Charge, and to me, I'm like, that's insane. You're dead. He just gets flipped. He did that twice. He did
Damn.
that to do that once. You'd be like, I did it. I'm fucking insane. I survived. you know, I would never do. He did that fucking shit twice. To me, I was like, you got to be a madman. It's a madman. Madman.
I think it's crazy to be smoking a cigarette in this day and age. I mean, that's the real killer here.
Cool people smoke
Austin.
cigarettes.
I smoked for 7 years, dude. I love those things. And
Dude, I'm
if
trying to
I,
start. I'm trying to start. Yeah.
Fucking Wu Yin.
Yeah.
He's become a smoker, man. I'm
His
pissed about it.
when Dean's boyfriend came to visit, he brought me a pack of cigarettes. Like, no, it's like a zebra on it or some shit. Like some zebra smoking
Korean
cigarette.
banana cigarettes. Those are his favorites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of cool. And then I kind of felt like I was a cooler person when I was smoking, and I wanted to continue, but it
He
just
says
didn't.
it helps him with his art. He's like, hey,
It didn't catch. Hopefully, one day I can form a habit if I try.
it's
apparently,
interesting.
like nicotine protects certain types of neurons, like dopamine producing neurons. And but of course, the argument is made that you can get it better ways. You can take it sublingually and through gum and stuff like that. But nicotine does
Oh, it's
have
cool.
dangerous metabolites that like raise your blood pressure and stuff. So it's not like completely good, but it's one of those things, man. If I need a kit for like when that meteorite hits, that's going to hit in like 30 years. You hear about this?
Right.
They give it like a
Right.
2% chance.
Yeah.
One of the most the best satisfactions one can have is snorting, you know, some oxy and smoking a cigarette. Right? This is like okay, this is
Just a
degeneracy at its
combo.
finest. Yeah. Look, man, I'm not endorsing it. I'm not glorifying it or anything of the sort. But it's a rare height of enjoyment. Right? It's degenerate to the end. I would never do it unless I knew that I was going to die in like a few minutes. Or a few hours, a few days. I could never
There
let
are
the consequences catch up to me.
there are certain pleasure combos that are legendary.
Hmm.
You know, like for example, I'm not a big wine guy, but I have had an amazing steak with a fine Cabernet. It mixes good. I've had my thing was the post trip bowl. I loved like you to go on some kind of acid trip or mushrooms or something, and just as you're coming down, you smoke a bowl, and just this it would make a beautiful combo, like the perfect sailing down sort of feeling. I love those combos, man. And yeah, I don't blame you on. It's like mixing a perfect cocktail, you know.
Two,
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
two of my favorite little mini highs. And I don't know if you ever did this with the dipping. You can even do the pouches. But when I was in college, I dipped. If you're a seasoned dipper, man, getting beat up in practice, like your body hurts. It was the cleanest, smoothest buzz for like 15, 20 minutes. It was beautiful. Like a whole body, just a mini little body buzz. It was perfect. It just helped you chill out, not think about it. It was beautiful. And the other one was you got a partner you've been with and you're just comfortable and it's like a perfect high fuck. Just marijuana fuck. Like a perfect high marijuana fuck. It's like, those are my two favorite little guilty pleasures. Just a tiny bit of very legal drugs and it was beautiful, man. I love both those. Love it.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah,
Good
I'd say
times.
my only guilty pleasure is energy drinks, I get a rush. It's like, dude, out of everything I've ever quit, like caffeine is one of the most difficult things I've ever dealt with. And I just can't stop, dude. I can quit for a little bit, but I always come back to it. I think because the negative consequences are so low and it actually produces a pretty nice high,
Mhm.
especially if you haven't had it in a little while. Like it gives you a
Can
pretty
you do
nice
it in
rush.
moderation?
I probably could. I'd have to get out of it fully for like 6 months, and
Uh-huh.
like totally reset myself. But right now, dude, it's totally a crutch that I lean on. And I
I
see it for what it
understand.
is.
Caffeine is an interesting one. I've read historical arguments where people have argued that the entire American Industrial Revolution was built on coffee. Like
Yeah.
literally, they've literally made that argument, and their arguments are pretty good. Actually, it's interesting when you look at what coffee does to people, and the ability it can really enhance work in a
Well,
lot of ways. It was kind of like a mini Adderall. But what I was going to say is, do you have any hard lines? Because if I have caffeine after 12, I'm fucked. I will not sleep that night. You know what I mean? So that's my rule of thumb. Like I can have one cup of black coffee in the morning or maybe some tea before 12. After that, nothing. Is that possible?
Dude, my worst times, and I don't really do it anymore. I'm drinking energy drinks as I'm going to sleep, and
What?
if I'm not drinking them, like I'll be awake. Like something happened when I after like
What?
so many years of abuse of it, my body like needs it. I feel like a junkie because I remember you can't sleep when you're withdrawing off of oxys or whatever, and you can't really sleep if you're withdrawing off of nicotine. That's
That's
like it's pretty crazy,
It's
but
true.
Wow.
The
it's
more
true.
caffeine you consume, like it starts out like that. Like you can't have it too late in the day or you can't sleep. If you have it consistently for a long period of time, you can fucking sleep on it. You can fucking drink it at night, drink it in the morning,
People
afternoon,
have
dude.
the after dinner coffee. Mom would
Sure.
do that sometimes. She'd
Yeah,
have an
but
after dinner
she's
coffee.
had it her whole life. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Damn, that's crazy, Austin.
I
There's
will
something
say
physiologically wrong with you.
Yeah, I agree.
well, I think it's the upper, like you said, the Industrial Revolution was probably built off of it. When I did medical intakes in Hawaii, they had it set up where you had to meet with me, a psychologist, you do an assessment, then you go talk to a psychiatrist, like a tag team. They made you go to both. 65% of the people were normal, me, you, Austin. Yeah, I think I have ADD. Just a bullshit story trying to get Adderall. Everybody was trying to get the upper. Everybody wanted the upper just to be more efficient. Look, I got 3 kids, I got a full-time job, and I hate my husband. Just give me some Adderall. You're like, yeah, okay, okay, fair.
It is interesting. Like, so that this guy, I can't remember his name, this historian, but in England they have tea, right? And we have Boston Tea Party and all that, and it became like a revolutionary thing to drink coffee. Like Americans said, tea equals the enemy, so everybody started drinking coffee. And he says you do notice these particular spikes that begin to happen in America, particularly in the Northeast, right? Where suddenly just productivity just begins steadily shooting up with the consumption of coffee. And coffee shops start appearing all over the place. And suddenly a cup of coffee becomes part of the American breakfast. It used to be milk. Milk was the essential thing for everybody in the American breakfast, but slowly coffee became the drink. And then people start having it in lunch and they're having it for dinner. And then there's like coffee showing up at work. There's like people intentionally have the coffee station at the factory and stuff like that. And people go on coffee breaks and it becomes completely integrated into society. We don't look at it as a drug, but maybe it is. Maybe it is something that's just kept Americans working hard for hundreds of years.
Yeah. I mean, if you were an employer who prohibited caffeine, like you'd be a Mormon, but you'd be an idiot because people need that. No, and I think I've heard people talk about like Richard Poland. Caffeine really does it turns what would otherwise be, and amphetamines do this as well, turns what would otherwise be something kind of monotonous and not really that enjoyable into something compelling. And I think this is why like long haul truckers use amphetamine and so forth. It's not just that it keeps you awake, but there's a euphoria to it, and there's an enjoyment that comes from being able to concentrate on things like fully. It's like meditative in a sense, like you're totally in the moment, and it's really fun because I remember when my ex he was prescribed ADHD medication, and I never was addicted to it, but I one time I took it for like a week straight, and I was sitting there by the window, looking out the window through the blinds, just looking and waiting for the police to show up because I was so paranoid, but I was so focused, and the truth is, I wasn't really having a bad time. I was like I was engaged, in a way that I wasn't without the drug. So I say there's a lot of benefits, and even things that look like negatives to a lot of people that are just bored are actually positives when seen in the right light.
It makes
That does
insignificance
sound like
significant.
meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Dude, if your life's like is so boring and you have nothing going on, having the police look for you is actually like an improvement.
Suddenly things are interesting.
Exactly, exactly. Peterson is always saying, he's always quoting that book, Notes from Underground, that if people had everything they wanted, they eventually they'd start knocking things over, so something interesting would happen. Like I completely agree. That was my situation. I had nothing to do and really nothing to worry about, but I needed something to worry about. Like as a human being, like you need something to have concern about, or else you're just like you're like a potato, man. Like you have nothing going on, and you're in like a slow mental decline because you have nothing to focus on and no reason to get up out of bed anymore.
That is so true, man. People find something. Like you will find something to obsess about. You will find something to make your life interesting. And it'll probably make you crazy in the end, but I guess we all go a little crazy when there's nothing to do.
Are you too tight? Like you keep looking to the side, Dean. Is something happening on the periphery?
No, I'm just my TV is to the side. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm not like this looking at my cameras to the side here, you know. Because it's all attached to my desktop over here. And I have to kind of move it around these days since we rearranged this room.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, any big news? I mentioned that asteroid. I believe that's still a thing. Uh,
30
I don't know.
years? That's how long it's going to take to wipe
I,
us
I
out?
don't. That was a guess. I think it was like 20 to 30 years,
That's
and
too
it's got
bad.
like a 2% chance of hitting somewhere.
Bring it on. I'm ready. Let's end this thing. Start over. You
What
know?
do you do? Okay, here's the scenario. You're stuck, and it's gonna happen, and you got notice. What do you do leading
They've
up to the end of civilization?
Well, let me ask you
they've
this.
done studies on this. I know the answer from the studies, right? When they ask people, the asteroid's coming, what do you do? Guess what the number one answer is?
Fuck your cousin.
Uh,
Fuck the person. Say, would you fuck me to the person you've never had the courage to say it to? Like, you just say, fuck it. This is it. That's it. You go to
So,
the one person you've always wanted to say it to and you say, hey, it's about to end. Please. That was the number one response.
cousin,
Fuck.
sister. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yes, cousin Chase. Yes. Yes.
Hey, let me ask you guys this similar situation because this came up this morning in therapy. You're on a plane, and all of a sudden, it's very apparent that the plane's gonna go down. What is your
Oh my
re?
God, Jesus God, forever.
Yeah, are you freaking out, or are you just like, all right, that's okay.
Have you seen the Louis C.K. bit about that?
No.
Oh, it's a great skit. It's so good. But essentially, like Louis C.K. is on his flight and he's next to the huge fat guy, like a 600-pound guy is taking up, like the armrest is gone underneath the fat and he's just sitting there. And the plane's going down and the pilot comes on, well, we got some turbulence coming down. And it's one of those, whoa, you feel the thing. And then the pilot gets on and he says, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to keep this. Oh, my God. And then it all goes starts going crazy. And there's a woman in the background who just starts freaking, Jesus Christ, God, Jesus, help us, Jesus, for God's sake. And then it's like it looks like the plane's and everybody's just screaming, 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 screaming. And then they get off the plane, and Louis C.K. is like best friends with the fat guy. They're like hugging each other, saying, dude, such a pleasure to meet you. They're like friends for life now because they survived it all. I think I do wonder if I would have the come to Jesus moment. I think I'd like to think now I would have the this is it. I would like to think that's where I would be at the just accept it moment. I think.
yeah, I'd probably it's probably not that bad. I like Schopenhauer's argument. Like you were not didn't exist for an infinite amount of time before you existed, and it never really did you any harm. So
Right.
you're just not going to exist. I mean, life is a brief interlude, and maybe it's better that it ends fast. You know.
I,
Yeah.
I feel like I've thought about that moment way too much. Maybe I've had one too many bumpy moments on planes, but I've had people next to me kind of wig out, mini wig outs. My thought's always the same. It's just like, oh, is it time? I'm ready. Like I'm okay. I'm okay
Well,
with it ending.
you remember
I'm
that was
okay.
Vic's reaction. You
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
Like our father got hit by a car in Colombia, like really fucked up hit, and he talked about like he was laying there on the pavement and like just like really fucked up and stuff, and he just says, "Okay, I guess this is it." Right? That's basically what he said. Yeah.
Well, he said that he was holding on to his wallet because Colombians are coming up and they were trying to help, but he thought they were trying
Oh,
to rob.
maybe it wasn't quite as profound as I
No,
thought.
no, no,
Never
because
mind.
I had to fly down there because he got hit. God, I was just straight out of college. I was in Florida. Like, he was really fucked up when I went and saw him in the hospital, but he was like, yes, I was okay. I'm okay with going. Like, he was okay with not making it.
Mm.
I was like, oh, good, good. You're not grasping onto life and having regrets. It was okay. That was important. I thought that was a good place to be. But anytime the plane gets, I'm just like, man, it almost is like a relief to me in a way. It's like life's fucking brutal sometimes. It's like if it's got to
That'd
end,
be
it's okay.
that'd be
I'm
a
okay.
hell of a thing though. Like to because like that's not an immediate death. That's like the plane,
That's
and there's
instantaneous,
like
bro.
mini seconds of
Put
just
your hands
yeah, we're
up.
getting
Put your
closer, we're
hands
getting
up and
closer, we're
enjoy
getting
it.
closer.
Woo, like a roller
Man.
coaster, man. Yeah.
Yeah, God. And then the guy next to you looking at you like, you fucking psycho, like, why am I dying with you? Like that sort of thing. I
Have
do
you?
before we go. Oh, go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, there's a sketch show called "I Think You Should Leave." Have you? This dude, there's like they make memes of him everywhere, and there's one where he's like in khakis and like a button-up shirt, and he's screaming like, "What have they done to us?" You know. And it's been a little while since I've seen the skit, but it's kind of convoluted. But anyway, he thought he was gonna die briefly because he thought he saw a monster, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna die." But he was like, I was actually relieved for a second because I realized that I didn't have to go to work tomorrow. And then it's just
Yes.
him screaming at the camera,
Yes.
"What have they done to us?" I was like, that is perfect. I think a lot of people would. I think there's a percentage of people that on a plane that they know they're going down are probably like, "Thank God, all my obligations are taken
Oh,
away from me."
yes.
That's
And
me.
dude,
100% that's me.
dude,
Suicidal thoughts? Absolutely. Yeah.
no, there's a lot of dude. There's a lot of people they do not want to kill themselves, and totally understandable, but they want to die,
Yeah.
and they just might cross the street without looking both ways. They just don't care, but they're not going to be the one that pulls the trigger. And
Chase, is that a psychological thing? Like you want to die, but you're not suicidal?
It's not
Is that a
that.
thing?
It's like a dysthymic state. Dysthymia is like that low grade depression. You're functional. You do
Right.
your obligations, but life is just like if it ends tomorrow, you're like, that's okay, fine. That's
Right.
fine. I'm ready to
Doesn't
check
sound
out.
like depression. That sounds like a healthy attitude.
Functional suicidal ideation. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Guys, there is one thing I should mention, just because I feel like I should, for the sake of views, mention some politics every week. There's one thing that I've been fascinated by. Have any of you watched the Chuck Schumer phenomenon happening? You know who
He
I'm talking about?
describe
he
it.
Okay.
he
Describe it.
he.
So Trump just passed a budget, right? But the budget requires a more than 51 members of the Senate. You have to have 60, right? And the Democrats gave a hard no, especially in the House. Like AOC was out there being like, we can't, we draw the line in the stand. There's no way. Absolutely no. Everybody just screaming it and screaming it and screaming it. And the senators, including Chuck Schumer, who's this New York Jewish senator, he's always got the glasses down like over his nose and he's super old. And he's like, we're not going to let the Republicans do this to us. He's like the textbook boring politician. Well, Chuck Schumer changed his vote this week, voted with Trump. And I have never seen something so fucking weird because he didn't get anything for changing the vote. There was no deal made. There was no nothing made. He just changed the vote. And he gets out there and he says, well, I'm doing this to prevent a government shutdown because I care about federal workers and the jobs. And now the Democratic Party, is having a fucking revolution. And this guy who has been the leader of the Democratic Senate for decades, he might be primaried, man. They might try to take him out, man. This guy was so fucking powerful, and he made this choice for some reason. Nobody fucking knows why he did it, why he supported the budget. And now there's talk of AOC replacing him. There's talk of like you know, somebody way more progressive, way more on the left replacing him. And there's just forces moving, man. They're looking for a populist. They're looking for somebody who's going to embody the left populist agenda. And they're searching, and they might be out there. We'll see. I'm really curious how this is going to shake things up, man. It's a big deal in the political world.
You don't think he got anything out of it? I imagine that he did. He got something, right? He had to do
No
his
one knows what it
stupid
is.
tour of apologizing slash justifying. I remember that.
But nobody knows what it is. Like usually it's clear, right? Oh, you got this thing in the district. No, 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 no. Maybe you got this money for blah blah blah.
It could be a fuck you
It's
because
not
he
clear.
is old, right? He's, what, fuck these people. Maybe it's something like that.
The problem is a week earlier you were saying absolutely no, I will not vote for this. And then the day of, they have this lunch meeting. Apparently there was this lunch meeting before the vote amongst all the Democrats, and now he changes his vote. Nobody knows what happens.
The most fascinating thing to me is the Elon part. Like I have it, Trump, beloved, fucking 80s businessman, reality TV star, and the W that goes on wrestling stints. Okay, everybody, that's American. Trump runs for president. He becomes the most evil man in the world, survives by the skin of his ear. It's all been transferred to Elon. Everybody hates Elon. You cannot say anything nice about Elon. If you say something nice about Elon in public, you better watch out. People will come after you, man.
What if that was the intention?
Well, on Trump's part, if he knew it was getting transferred to
Like,
him, that's
not
brilliant.
all the heat goes from Trump to Elon,
That I
you
don't
know?
think that could have been known. They didn't know that. I don't think Elon expect. Nobody expected that, did they? I've never seen this type of shift.
Well, think about when Elon took over Twitter. Before Elon took over Twitter, he was a darling of the left,
Sure,
right? California was going to build his
sure.
big, vacuum train system and all that sort of shit. Gets on Twitter, it changes, and he
Yeah.
gets a lot of fucking hate for that shit. So we've seen it before.
Well,
We've seen how fickle the public is, you
so
know?
the argument I get from these lunatic liberals that do text me, they're like, it's his self-interest. Now, if you guys both, from what you know of Elon, do you feel like he's only acting in self-interest, or is he trying to better the world, or what do you think his intentions are?
I look, I think Elon is a practical thinker. Like Trump is probably like functionally retarded. He probably couldn't do any like really hard like mechanical or mathematical stuff. Like, but Elon probably can, right? Like he's a smart dude, but he's socially retarded. I think Trump could have easily, if theoretically, if he wanted to, I think Trump would is smart enough and socially aware enough to come up with a plan that say, "Hey, I'm gonna get this autistic dude over here. I'm gonna set him up. And like, people just need one freaking scapegoat. He's gonna be
Mhm.
him, dude. I think I totally see Trump doing that,
Huh.
and or at least people that are around him that are smart enough, because there's a lot of geniuses that are hired by Trump that are around him that want him to win. I think it makes a great deal of sense, and in this sense Elon is like Jesus. I mean, let's be real. He's being
He's on the
crucified.
cross.
He's
Yeah.
being crucified every day, man. And for that, well, I don't really like the guy personally. I don't dislike him either. I think he's just he's socially retarded, so he does wild things that
Austin,
are inappropriate.
let me ask you a philosophical question. Apparently, Elon is an absolute believer in the simulation theory, right? Like
Mm.
we're in the matrix. He really does believe that. If that's your core belief, how do you think it affects your actions? Like if you really do believe it's the matrix, I'm in the simulation, how do you think that would maybe alter how you react with the world?
Yeah. Well, it seems like it would make sense that if you really thought that way, that your prime directive in life would be to get outside of the matrix, and then everything you do would ultimately be that for that purpose. So
Well,
yeah, you his aims would be misaligned with most people, depending. I mean, would they'd be strange, right? Because most people their aims are like prosperity in this world, right? He's like we're like the dude in the Matrix eating the steak and saying, I don't want to know, but he's Neo, and Neo's like Jesus Christ, and here we are again. So I don't even
or
know.
Austin, did you ever see Rick and Morty?
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you remember when they have the video game Rick? You
I'm not
know,
not
It's
sure if
not
I saw that.
Rick. It's not simple Rick.
Roy,
No, there's Roy or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Roy, right? So basically, like they're at a theme park in space and they put a helmet on Morty, and Morty wakes up as this guy, Roy, right? And like he goes through his whole life. He gets married, he plays football, he has a family, he beats cancer and stuff like that. And then he dies, and then helmet off. He's like, oh, where's my wife? Where's it? Like, hey, 47 years, not bad, you know? Like, and then Rick gets in it, and he gets a crowd of people like, holy shit, he's playing Roy. He's burning his social security card. He's fucking going off the grid, like, and so I wonder if that's like instead of trying to escape the matrix, right? If you really do believe it's all a simulation, you're saying this is my playground. And okay, if it's all virtual, let's go crazy, you know? To me, I feel like that's kind of what Elon's doing. Like, I'm gonna fucking make this my playground. I am going to do whatever I want to do. Go to Mars, build crazy ass cars, become the most powerful, richest person in the world, like break the playground, I guess,
I there's two things I always really liked about Elon. This was like a decade ago, probably over that. Is I love this, like, we got to get to Mars. I'm like, yes, let's get the fuck out of here. That seems correct. We have to expand. Go that way. No more racial shit, no more trans shit, no more therapy. Let's just get off this planet and advance and just grow and have spaceships and fucking sail around the galaxy. That seems correct. The other one is he has a uh uh his SpaceX, man, it gets the technology surpasses NASA, and his hero growing up was Buzz Aldrin. And there's a quote from Buzz Aldrin. They're reading to him in an interview, and Buzz is just like, "Hey, they said be careful of SpaceX or something kind of derogatory toward his company." And he starts tearing up, like he's on the verge of crying, hearing that his hero, the guy that inspired him to create this company, is questioning him in a negative light. Like it crushed him. Like you could see the tears coming down his cheeks. And I was like, this is a man that was dedicated to one passion, and he achieved it. And he's achieving a lot more. I there's a lot of admiration there to see someone tear up from, like, to hear your childhood hero criticize you and it makes you cry. I'm like, that, yeah, fuck, that's pretty fucking human. And this is before anybody knew him for any of this political shit. So that's how I remembered him before. So he always had my respect. Let's get off this planet. And it seems like he was very passionate about something that he loved. And yeah, now he's the richest man in the world. So yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to share one thing because we were talking about the simulation theory. I had a very severe flu this week, and for a period of time, I had a really high fever, and I was completely delirious. And uh, I read online that if you can handle it, that you should avoid taking medications that reduce fever because fever is an important part of the healing process, so on and so forth. So I was letting myself go through it. I was thinking about the horrors of mankind, and I couldn't stop myself. But I'm sitting here watching documentaries on drug addicts in Kensington and otherwise, and I just saw immense suffering. And it occurred to me, and it's not original insight, but it had intense because it had a high emotional importance. I realized I was thinking of the world. This world is a test, and we are put here to we're going to all be here together until every last one of us is raised out of that kind of condition. We have to help each other, and we're going to be sent back forever until we do that. And I think whether or not that's a really true insight or just an insight of a completely overheated brain, I think that's something to consider, that maybe we are here to help each other, and maybe there's no excuse not to.
I only have one question, Austin. If it is a test, what's your score?
Hey, what was your temperature yesterday?
I don't know. I never actually took it. I was actually afraid to take it because I was like, if it's higher than that, something, I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. I'm kind of I'd say I'm chaotic good right now, man. I'm on the upswing, dude. I got no, I'm not perfect, but I'm not actively hurting people, and I'm a pretty nice guy.
Well, like
As a teacher, I feel like I'm at a C. Like I feel like I'm passing. You know what I mean? Like I'm just passing. Maybe a C minus, but I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna graduate. That's what matters. I'm not valedictorian. That's for Elon. But
I concur. C to C plus. I'd say C plus in my head consistently. Just like, yeah, a little better than average. A little better than average. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a good thought experiment and something I've done in meditation. Just imagine yourself before an entity that is completely compassionate and blameless, and you're being judged, and just as like a benchmark of how you should feel about yourself. And what was the thing? It's like what was that? It's a famous thing. It's like either infinite hell or salvation. Like you might as well pick the other. Pascal's wager. I feel it's something like that on a moral sense. I think it's something everybody should ask themselves. Like, is it better, or is it more likely, that, or what exactly is going to happen in the afterlife? Either infinite nothingness or maybe a reward of some kind. Like maybe you should take the infinite reward over the finite reward, and the infinite reward would just don't be a terrible person, and try to help people when you can. But then again, a homeless guy came up to me on the street the other day and asked for money, and I was like, dude, get away from me. I'm not giving you money.
Dude, I I remember growing up, the book that always freaked me out when I was going to church was Revelation. You know, uh, and I because it never really made sense. It was way too just metaphorical. But in the book, and I'll always remember this because it scared me. There was this thing called the Great White Throne Judgment, and this is the final judgment. You know, and it's one of those weird things where apparently every single human being will be stood before the Great White Throne with Jesus Christ on it, and He will judge you for everything you have done in your life. Like everything will be listed out and enumerated, every sin, every good deed. And it was interesting because there's a theological disagreement here. Like the Catholics say, like, if you got more good, then you're good. But the Protestants say, if your name is written in the book of life, aka you've been saved by Jesus, then you get to continue on to eternity, you know? But just that idea of the moment before God. And instead of compassion, Austin, I was imagining just like, the Christian God of absolute righteousness
Ugh.
and wrath, you know? And so I always had pure fear when I contemplated those moments, man. The moments of judgment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. That feels so wrong. It feels just like that interpretation is not correct in my head. It just doesn't
Yeah.
feel right. It's just like
It's
good.
scary.
It's fucking horrible, man. You shouldn't be fucking terrified of being judged in the end. It's not
I
the way
thought
to
that
fucking approach life. No.
I
No.
just imagined like Jesus there just reading out every moment I jerked off in my entire life, saying, okay, number 1,337 jerked off, and yeah, you were thinking about taking it up the ass. Just add another sin underneath there. And oh, you were covetous of that guy sitting in your class, a little narc there. And I'm just like, oh my God. Don't do that to me, please, God. I'm sorry. I'm
Fuck, dude.
please
That
forgive.
shit is so insane. It's absolutely
Yeah,
insane. That's why I dropped it. It's like I don't even want to consider this shit. It's just stupid. There's
yeah.
absolutely no way this is the correct thought. There's just no way. There's no way.
I think there's only one. I don't even like to use the word sin, but it's like, did you act like to purposely hurt somebody? I think that's like the only criteria of like divine retribution.
It's fair enough.
Well, on that note, ladies and
No, 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 no. I
gentlemen.
want to say one thing because this was important
Okay.
this week. This will be quick. This new workout I'm doing, dude. I had a great workout yesterday. I dread working out. It's once every 3 days. You know how long my workout was yesterday? Fucking timed it.
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Almost. Yeah, it was like 14 minutes and 56 seconds. Yeah, it's about 15 minutes. It was beautiful. It was over. It was fantastic. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I fucking hate working out. And now it's all done quick and then I can leave. It's fantastic. I feel like I've stumbled across something that I've been missing my whole life. I hate lifting weights for hours and days. Just do it on occasion I can do 15 minutes. Hard work, 15 minutes every other couple days. Sure. Sure.
Did you take the pictures?
At the beginning, I did. I'll take another at the
Okay.
end. Yeah.
You got to do the progress. You do a step by step, man. That
Fan
way people could be like, week 1, week 2, week 3.
Fan fucking tastic, man. That guy's on to something. You don't need to spend hours in the gym. You just need 10, 15 minutes. So,
Mm. All
You
right.
look
Austin,
solid, man. It's showing.
Austin, you gonna get jacked? You gonna do that?
Yeah, I'll probably do some push-ups later.
hey, there's
Uh,
one other thing. I was having a horrible day and I went to the gym today and I did a little workout and then I ran. I felt a little better. So I do think there is something to the movement and feeling yourself, I guess, slightly improve. It kind of shocks you out of it a little bit. It's good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's all I got.
that's great advice, Dr. Conrad. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
How much do I owe you?
You can't afford me.
That's that's true. That's actually true.
Shall we call it there, guys?
See. Ciao.
Indeed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for listening to the Divine Brothers podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.